Hi.
Hi. Are you searching for the perfect place to live in Colorado Springs? If you're considering making that move, stick around. We're going to go through everything that you should consider when making the move to Colorado Springs. We're going to give you all the do's and don'ts.
All the do's and all the don'ts. Because especially in a market like today, the decision-making process really has to be on point. And if you don't have somebody that is helping guide you, and so that it's like a structured process, and you're gonna feel all over the place. And really what it's just gonna do is just induce a bunch of stress, and it's gonna make you really unconfident in the decision-making process for potentially the most expensive purchase of your entire life that is extra expensive because of the current market. So I've just always found that information and processes or systems, whatever you want to call it, it just helps people that are looking to buy houses or rent, whatever, like have just better peace of mind and less buyer's remorse.
Yes.
Because that is like what I want to avoid the most. Like, we can go slow, let's avoid some buyer's remorse. And I think the way to do that is just by having some more information, right? So,
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so what's the, so,
Well, real quick.
okay.
In case you're new to the channel, welcome.
They are. You
Thanks
are.
for tuning in.
Thank you.
Probably are. Welcome to the channel. If you didn't know, on this channel we talk about everything related to where to eat, work, live, play, all right here in the Colorado Springs and Pikes Peak region. We are licensed realtors in the state of Colorado. We'd love to help you out if you're considering making that move.
And this is kind of the proof, right? This
Yeah.
is, we're going to kind of talk you through what the average viewer does, or what we recommend that they do once they find out you're military, you get orders and says you're going to Peterson or Carson or the Air Force Academy, whatever. You pick up a new job here, you're tired of living in the heat of the Southeast or in the super busyness of LA or whatever it is, and you figure out that you're moving to Colorado Springs.
Yeah.
So what do you do? First thing, you're in the right place. We have a ton of videos. We have over, I think, 400 videos now about neighborhoods, things to do, places to go, the best things about the city, the worst things about the city. We constantly update those. We get a lot of feedback from people as well, and sometimes it's good, sometimes it's totally useless information, just people complaining, but whatever. So the number one thing is, you do a little bit of research. And I think a great way for me to do a little bit of research is to hop on the old Google machine, and get into the YouTubes and start watching some videos. So honestly, this is the right place. Next thing is obviously reach out to us. Duh.
Yes. Number 2, that's reach out to us.
Yeah.
Like, give us a call. Go to
Call, email, text, whatever.
in the description box. Get the relo packet.
Yep. Okay, so that's a big one. So especially, now this is whether you're moving out here or not. We do have a relocation guide. I think everything in there is super, super good except for Mother Muffs. And I'm saying that because Francis is watching us film this video right now. And I've had 3 people go to Mother Muffs recently and be like, 3 people have gone there recently and been like, So maybe we'll change that by the time that you get this. But the relocation guide, it's super awesome for like coming out here and visiting or moving out here. There's information about school districts.
All the neighborhoods are broken down for you.
Yep,
So we
great
got
maps.
Info on that stuff. All the average housing prices in the different neighborhoods, and what's available in different neighborhoods, shopping, dining, entertainment,
Tips.
our recommendations.
Yep. Our recommendations, which are good.
Right.
Francis's recommendations, which are subpar. But he's really excited about them. He really, really loves them. But we love him.
Yeah.
He's sweet.
Yeah. I hate you.
Anywho, so that would be, I think that's like a major move, right? Like, download that and you'll just get help. It'll help you just get a really good picture of Colorado Springs in general.
Yeah.
And then once you've kind of looked through that, so Sam was mentioning that like in the relocation guide, it breaks out neighborhoods as well. We have a bunch of videos on those specific neighborhoods where we go through, we're showing you kind of what it looks like. We're trying to do the best that we can to help you get a feel, with drone videography, going into some of like the amenities, the restaurants, if they are there, doing house tours, talking about like the pros and cons, which a lot of people won't do. They won't tell you what sucks about a neighborhood, or listen, I can't tell you what sucks about a neighborhood. I can tell you what people have told me that they don't like about the neighborhood, or who is this neighborhood not for. But I think that you'll find a lot of value in like kind of comparing the two between the YouTube and the relocation guide.
For sure. And number 3 thing segues into it nicely. We do have all those neighborhood videos, and they're awesome. We love doing them. I think they have been a really big help to our clients who've moved out here. But the biggest thing that has helped is getting boots on the ground, right? A weekend visit to Colorado Springs I think it's a great idea to get out here, because you really have to, it's such a spread out city.
Yeah.
That you really have to take some time and do some driving and just kind of learn the different areas and neighborhoods, the different routes that you can go to, different places such as your commute, your favorite shops and restaurants, like the places you're going to spend the most time, and then the places that you want to be.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
have you had clients do that?
Oh yeah.
What is that experience like for them?
It is, according to them, it's been extremely helpful, because unlike a lot of other cities, like I said, it's so sprawled out. There's so many different areas. There's so many different ages of those different areas. Like, you have old stuff sprinkled in with brand spanking new stuff, like in different parts of town. Everything is named after a ranch here, so yeah. Almost everything is named after a ranch here. So like spending time in those areas and getting to know them, I think it gives them a lot more comfort and confidence in their decision when it comes time to say, I want to buy a house in this neighborhood.
Yeah, I'm going to stack on top of that. So like, it's not feasible for everybody to get out here. Obviously, if you can, do it. And break. Here's an interesting, or just a good note. There is an airport in Colorado Springs. It's a relatively, I don't want to call it a major airport, but it's a relatively sizable airport, pretty busy. And then Denver Airport is about an hour and 30 minutes away. So both of those are good options. So flying in, obviously there's Airbnbs everywhere. There's hotels everywhere. Like, the stay itself is pretty straightforward, but it's not feasible for everybody. It's not practical. People have kids are in school, like whatever it is. So that's one of the reasons, again, that we make the videos that we do with the neighborhoods, and kind of like breaking them down so that you can get the best feel that you can. Because you know what else sucks is moving somewhere and then moving in general just kind of is not ideal. Yeah. And so like moving to Colorado Springs, being somewhere temporarily, and then moving again, or trying to find a place to live, feeling pressure, and then moving, that also sometimes is really, really frustrating. So what we will do is we'll help you plan out that itinerary when you're coming out here to visit. We'll take you around, make sure that you see like the important neighborhoods. But when we say the important neighborhoods, it's not just based off of like my idea of what a good neighborhood is. At that point, you and I have already talked. We'll talk through you guys' desires, where you're gonna work, what you guys like to do. Some people, they don't care about being close to the mountains. Other people, they are mountain goers. And so like living on the northeast side of town, it adds an extra 45 minutes, for example. So we try to narrow our search towards the other side of town, right? That's just like a minor example.
Yeah.
So we do a little process of discovery and kind of help you work through and figure out what areas make sense. And that way you don't feel like overwhelmed when you're looking at this giant city,
right?
Or whatever. So that's it. That's an important piece of it. And if you can't get out here, we'll just go look at places for you. We'll take the drone out. We'll take our phones out. We'll go video, show you neighborhoods, show you homes. I've done that for multiple clients that have not been here, and we've been able to buy houses, and they've moved out here, and it was great. They felt like they knew what they were getting because they had seen so much footage that it was like.
Just had some clients this year actually that moved out from the Bay Area, from San Francisco. They were commuting hour and a half a day, like each way. It's gross. They called in, hit me up. They didn't have time, like at that moment, to fly out. We did a whole bunch of FaceTime tours of neighborhoods and things like that. Found them a house, got them under contract. They were able to fly out for the inspection, see the neighborhood, see the home, all those things. ended up absolutely loving it. So there's all sorts of different routes and avenues that we can go, even if you can't make it out here. And that discovery process is the biggest piece, to really kind of trying to narrow down like exactly where it is, or roughly where it is that you're going to want to live when you get here. And that's going to be based off your job, your lifestyle, the things you want to do, the things you don't want to do and don't want to see, all those things. So moving on.
I actually just had a client that, and just so you know, that so that you don't feel like we're just trying to like talk you into buying a property that's not right. Actually, just this weekend, talked to some clients out of a house. We went under contract, and then we got the inspection back. They haven't walked through the house. I have walked through the house, so like I kind of had that feel, and I knew what they were looking for and what they wanted to do with the house long term. So we got the inspection back, and we talked through it. And after a little bit of deliberation, it was like, probably not the play, which is unfortunate, but so we ended up terminating. We got our earnest money back. We just canceled on the inspection, which like, we're not trying to do that, right? Like that sucks, but we also, again, we want you to feel comfortable with the decision, and making that decision from a long ways away is really scary.
It is.
I think.
It is, absolutely. And kind of tailing on to this subject and this topic, one of the questions we get a lot from people coming from out of town, out of state, honestly just had some clients come in from out of the country recently. One of the questions we get a lot is like, what are the safest areas? What are the best school districts? Like, where do I really want to be? That's probably the most common question.
And the hardest question for us to answer.
It is, right, exactly. But what I've seen a lot of clients use in the past, and this can be a great resource, is niche.com. Got a ton of info on there about every school district, not just in our area, but nationally. And then the city of Colorado Springs has a good interactive crime map that they just put out. I don't know, it's been a few years that they kind of did some updates on it, where it's like super interactive now, and you can like dig into like the nitty gritty and details of all the different incidents and things like that. It's a great resource to be able to have. And so that kind of leads into my next point, is like, after you've made that initial visit, or if you couldn't make the initial visit, but you've kind of started to narrow down on like rough areas, you want to do research not just about the city, but on those areas themselves.
Yep. And that's where, again, like the videos really help. And also having a good partner on this end is going to be crucial, because like I've been asked some really bizarre questions. But you know what? It's my job to find answers to those questions sometimes, and at least provide information so that you have the ability to make a decision for what you want. I do want to, little bit of a tangent, I do want to talk about this, like this idea of like, what's the safest neighborhood? We want to make sure that we're in a safe neighborhood. I want you to consider for a moment that some of you are coming from Provo, Utah, and some of you are coming from Southside Chicago. And you probably have different tolerances for what is safe, or different ideas, or even just like, not even using extreme examples, one of you might be moving here from like rural Montana, right? And somebody else is moving here from LA, right? Like you have totally different ideas of what safety and security is like. And I don't know what you're used to. That's one of the reasons why we can't really answer that question super well for you, because like, I don't know what your tolerance level is, and your tolerance is going to be different than mine. And then the same thing with schools. Obviously you should know here that there is school choice, caveat. I have some clients right now that they did some calling around, and some of the schools that they wanted to like opt into, they're full. Right. So like, you do have school choice, but it's not like not everybody. If you were to look on niche.com and look at the top schools, typically District 20, maybe District 12 is up there, but if everybody in the city were to call a District 20 school and try to go there, obviously that's a freaking problem. So you do have to take those things into consideration. And for that reason, they decided to not move to a certain neighborhood, because they were like, well, I know that we have school choice, but we want to do whatever. I don't even have kids. So I know like the basics of the school districts and who's got good ratings and whatever, but like, I don't have high school kids.
Yeah.
I'm like, feel like I just got out of high school not too long ago, even though it was actually a long time ago, which is weird. But anyway, so using those services is like really, really important, but using like your teammate who is here, using your teammate who is here is just a really helpful way to like get some more information.
Bingo.
I think one of the other major key, this is a Kyleism, I think. I've had this conversation with a few clients before who just really, they were coming from, it was like the San Francisco thing. They were coming from a place that like had really long commutes. And so they're like, I never want to do that again. I just want to live close. Well, in Colorado Springs, like likelihood that you're going to have more than a 25 or 30 minute commute is like,
It's low.
it's pretty low.
I think average commutes around here are around 20 minutes.
Yeah, I would agree. However, a lot of people are moving to Colorado for the recreation, for the outdoors, for the excitement, for the mountains, for the skiing. And I just try to encourage people to like really think about like, what is it that you want to do when you move here? Do you want to get into mountain biking? Do you want to be hiking? Do you want to be climbing 14ers? Do you want to be skiing and snowboarding? Like, what is it?
Yeah.
And I feel like life is a little bit more fulfilling when those things are much more accessible,
Yeah.
right? If you have an additional, from Colorado Springs to the ski resorts, it's already a 2.5 hour drive.
Yeah.
And then if you add, also I live on the far east side of town or something like that, and we're going to do that all the time, that adds now another 35 minutes to your drive. Okay, to me, that starts to degrade your quality of life.
Yeah.
Personal opinion. So anyway, back on track. I think the last and biggest, I think it's the last and biggest thing when you're trying to find the perfect place. I actually recently did a video. It's called Bang for Your Buck. That one is like a really, really helpful video because what it does, what I tried to help show in that video, I just used roughly the median number for homes here, which is about $500,000. It's actually a little bit less, but I used $500,000 and what you could get in different parts of town.
Yeah. Super cool video. Go watch it.
Thank you. And I think it's just like what Sam was saying in the beginning of the video, it's super helpful to understand because what you're going to get on the west side of town is going to be a lot different. And so understanding our local market in Colorado Springs, it's not Denver.
Yeah.
It's not Castle Rock. It's not Salt Lake City. It's not Miami. It's not St. Louis. Colorado Springs is its own magical little place. And I think as early as possible, you're a year out, great. Get on the Zillow machine or whatever. Like, I think that it's so helpful to just get on and start getting accustomed to what you can get for what prices.
Yeah, big time.
I think that's so huge.
500 in Rockrimmon is so different than 500 in Banning Lewis.
Yes, it's so different. They're different. Oh my God, totally different
styles,
neighborhoods.
different ages, different neighborhoods. Like, honestly, sometimes too, this is another thing a lot of people don't recognize. Like, depending on where you're at in town, weather is different.
Totally.
Like,
Yeah.
there's so many different factors, and it's such a unique town. You can't really compare it to any other and be like, spot on for comparison by comparison. That's such a huge point, such a good point. Like, it is so beneficial to know, like, if I'm going to be at this price point, like, here's what I can get in these different neighborhoods.
Yeah, I have had this conversation multiple times because clients will find out a year out that they're moving here and they're like, oh, I'm sorry, like, I don't want to waste your time. I'm not moving there for a year. And I'm like, no, this is great.
Yeah.
This is great because you will start to be able to adapt. And like what I tell them is, so what we'll do is we'll set them up so that like, we'll just push them properties. If they're that far out, we'll push them properties like once a week or every other week, like really slow. And it's just like, hey, just hop on there every now and then and just look in this price range. Yep. And what I want you to pay attention to is like, pay attention to like the style of the build, the location, and the price. And you start to see patterns pop up. And then when we're 3 to 5 months out and we start getting really, really serious, like, okay, it's time to do this. Now you already know, you've kind of watched it happen. Yeah. Obviously the more lead time, the better. And if you don't have that kind of lead time, like, I will get you caught up.
Yeah. Yeah. And actually I want to piggyback on this. I know you said the last thing, but another important piece of this, I always like to kind of go over timeline. So if like, okay, I'm moving here X date, let's back it up 30 days. And that's like kind of like your standard typical like contract period. It's like 30 days. So if you're looking to be in a house on X date, back it up 30 days. That's when you need to be submitting an offer. Right now, in this low inventory market, I usually give that another 30 or 60 days on top of that 30 there. So like 90 days is kind of like, okay, we're serious and we're looking kind of time frame.
Yeah.
Just so you're giving yourself enough time to be able to hit your markers. I feel like that's another
because like it might take you longer to find the house than you realize. And look, photography is so good. There's a lot of houses that look phenomenal. And then you get inside of them and you're like, this was a very nice camera.
Yeah.
And that happens a lot, which is why
this fisheye lens made this 8x8 bedroom look like it was 15.
Yeah, seriously. So those are hopefully some helpful tips, and just like, especially for first-time home buyers, or if you've never bought from out of state and you're looking for the perfect place. But I will tell you, ultimately, just home is where the heart is. And so I have just found that like I've been able to make a house a home by the rest of my life being fulfilled. I'm getting philosophical here.
You're being a philosophizer.
Yeah, a philosophical here. Is that you can really make a house a home when your lifestyle is, I think, just overall good. Yeah. And that's one of the things that Colorado like really provides a lot of opportunity for that, to get out more. It's sunny here all the time. There's open spaces. It was just rated the #1 dog-friendly city in America. No surprise at all. There's farmers markets all summer. There's skiing, snowboarding, climbing. Like, it's all the things. And you can, at whatever physical level that you are. And I have just found that, like, even when I haven't loved a particular house, it was fine, because I was like, the rest of my life was like so happy. So
yeah,
I think that ultimately just brings it in. Pick a new hobby and like take advantage of it here and explore it. Otherwise, good luck finding a house, because inventory is low and the market is tough. That's why we're here. We're super experienced with it. We'd love to help you out. If you have any questions, reach out, give us a subscribe, share this with somebody that you know that is moving to Colorado Springs.
See ya.